All right. So talking about Manchester City, what do you think is happening? Why are they not winning Champions League? Because everybody, other teams from Spain, from Italy, others from Bundesliga. I mean, they were not good enough. You could see teams struggling so much, especially in Champions League. Talking about Madrid, I mean, Barcelona. They were not. They are not the team that we all know. Now, this is a chance that personally, I thought Manchester City, having the squad that they have, having the money that they have, with everything that is available to them, this is the only time they had to run away with this with the Champions League. I don't know. What do you think really is the problem there?
The problem is Guardiola. I think the Champions League has been his Achilles heel in his managerial career since he left Barcelona, because I don't know what normally happens when it comes to the Champions League. I don't know if he overthinks or he thinks he doesn't go for the simple formation, or he doesn't go for the simple tactics. He just wanted to. I don't know what happened, because if you look at last season, they lost to Lyon because he made a tactical blunder in the selection of the players that were starting, and it backfired on him. In fact, when I saw the lineup before the match, I was really shocked that he wasn't starting any defensive midfielder in terms of Fernandinho or Rodri. Mm-hmm. And given that Chelsea were playing 3-4-3 in a formation whereby when they are attacking, one of the fullbacks falls into midfield. So you get that their midfield is more packed because they have like 4 people in the midfield. And Guardiola was having pretty lightweight guys in midfield in Gundogan and this other guy. What is his name? I can't recall his name. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So the match was won in the midfield, and by it not being for one squandering like 3 clear-cut chances in the first half. Mm-hmm. If Tuchel had started maybe someone like Olivier Giroud, who is normally a big game player, mm-hmm. that match would have been finished in the first half. So Guardiola really shocked a lot of people. Even Tuchel said when he saw the squad, he was shocked. I was equally shocked because I was expecting someone like Fernandinho to start. Mm-hmm. I was expecting someone like Aguero to start, because there is no other player that Aguero didn't need any kind of motivation to perform in that match, because this is his last match in the club that he has been there for over a decade. Mm-hmm. This is the trophy that has eluded him, and a lot of former Manchester City players who are part of that generation, the likes of Silva, the likes of this defender that went to Anderlecht. So it was the pinnacle of his career in that match. So if I was the coach, I would have started Aguero. So he went with Sterling, someone who has underperformed in front of goal all season. So it was really mind-boggling. And in the Champions League, you final match, play poor tactics, the other manager got it right, and that was the result. So if Guardiola doesn't change, that will be the story going in. Because last season with Lyon, same blunder. This season, same thing. And this was the easiest time for him to get that trophy, because going into the next season, we were expecting COVID restrictions to be eased. Fans will get back to the stadiums. Teams are going to strengthen. Juventus will definitely strengthen. Manchester United will strengthen. PSG. Real Madrid will come back stronger with a new coach, new players. So it will be more tougher and tougher for him to get to the same position that he got this season. So it's all up to him.
Okay,
and normally with these top class coaches, people are normally afraid to criticize them a lot because he's had success previously. Mm-hmm. But he has to look himself in the mirror and know that that loss was purely on him.
All right, let me bring in Innocent. Innocent, how are you?
Hi, Steve. I'm fine. And Gilbert,
Innocent,
hi.
I've missed you a lot, Ban.
Yeah,
You
I
guys
missed you too.
you guys performed a miracle from Europa League back to the Champions League.
Yeah, it meant those 5 last games were finals, so we had to win.
Yeah.
Again, when coaches overthink the likes of Pep and Brendan, things don't work out well. So otherwise, I've been fine. We didn't do well, but it was even a shocker to me that we finished third, actually ahead of Chelsea, a team that won Champions League. I can't believe it. And okay, otherwise, great to see you, brothers. This platform, I've really missed it, and good to see you. I'm back.
All right. So we were talking about Manchester City and Pep Guardiola tactics, and we were talking with Gilbert.
Yes.
I mean, looking at Manchester City having being the clear favorites to win the Champions League.
Yes.
Owing to the fact that teams like Liverpool, Barcelona, Manchester United, Juventus, Bayern Munich, they were not really on their shoes. They were not performing well. Yes. And so they exited the tournament, before they could even get to the semis. Now everybody was like, Manchester City are taking this thing. So, but now they were surprised, and this was not the first time Manchester City were losing against Chelsea, because the same tactics, Pep Guardiola went with when they lost. Was it in the Premier League against Chelsea? So now you could just ask yourself, what is really missing? Why didn't Manchester City win the Champions League?
Let me say first, when I saw that lineup, at first I was like, De Bruyne is playing as a default striker. How did it happen first? And Fernandinho was not there. And all along, you have seen that those center backs for Manchester City, they have been performing well when they are well covered at the high midfield. So those guys were really exposed. And let us give credit to Tuchel. Tuchel actually is a tactician, and whenever he gets an opportunity, he wins it. Let me take you back. This is the same guy who threw out Diego Simeone. This is the same guy who messed up Zidane in Champions League. This is the same guy who has beaten Jurgen Klopp also. He has beaten Pep. This is the 3rd time. And I think Pep was overconfident. He thought that, of course, as the fans of football, we expected throughout this season, even in Europe, live around the domestic league, actually, Manchester City have really performed well. So for me, my prediction was that the game was to be won at first half. But when you look at the way, let us give credit to N'Golo Kante. That guy actually is a guy you can count on big matches, more so in Champions League. He has really performed well. And even there's a speculation that he should go in for Ballon d'Or. No, it can't. First of all, we can't just analyze this game at the half of the season. So we expect N'Golo Kante to perform next season, and then maybe that one can be rated. And when you look at
if I can jump
Sterling, yes.
I think if France go ahead and win the Euros, he'll be in a shout for the Ballon d'Or. You can go ahead.
That one. But he has to perform. That's good. Euro, if he performs, that's good. So, and another thing shocked me is that when you look at Raheem Sterling has not been that good lately. Maybe in the last 15 matches, he has been out of form. And this is a guy, actually, that guy could not dribble past James. If you saw that game, he didn't do it. Actually, even
true.
started complaining to the referee. And yeah, it hurts me to see that that's Alexander Arnold, is he could be out of the Euros with England, but let us give credit. If Southgate has to take those wing backs, actually, I expect Reece James and Alexander Arnold, because this is the reason why I give it. Alexander Arnold can give you goals with assists, but and also he has good pass, but also James is one guy you can't dribble past. He covers well, even though you have maybe overlapping midfielders who go fast there. He can really cover well. He's actually a tactical player too. But when I look at Kyle Walker and Trippier, I think maybe my third choice will be maybe Trippier. Then the fourth choice will be Kyle Walker. Now, out of that, when we go back to the situation at Manchester City at the moment, those guys, this is the chance they had to make a footprint in Europe so that they can even attract players. You know, you need to win that trophy so that you can be among the Europe elites. And this is the chance Pep had. And my worry is this, the guy doesn't even, there is somewhere he said that when he came to Manchester City, there is no pressure that he has to win something on Europe. You know, come on, you need to win it. You know, at the end of the day, it's not about what you think, it's about the club and also the fans, and also to move a club to that elite level where you can also attract good signings. So I don't see Man City defending that domestic title or trophy next season. It is becoming very difficult. And when I also look at Chelsea, they have been playing well, but domestically they have not done it. But we cannot outshine them because Tuchel came in and he's really performed well in the past 15 matches. Because let us face it, the reality, if it was Lampard who was there in these past 15 games, I don't think he could have really excelled the way he has done it. And there is this guy, I don't know how you rate him. I want to throw in a spanner for Chelsea. Is Timo Werner good, or is just making runs?
Okay, we come
Lukaku is coming in. Lukaku is coming in to replace him.
Where I've not seen that.
Yeah, there is a strong
There's a strong.
Oh,
yeah. So if
I think the main issue that the main issue that led to Conte resigning was that the owners of Inter Milan are having financial issues. I think there are some restrictions in China about money coming out of China to invest in other areas, basically because of COVID and all that. So they have to generate some money from player sales, and there'll be little or no reinvestment in the squad in terms of quality signings, maybe to push forward from winning the Scudetto. So Conte saw that he can't work in such a scenario, so he opted out. So one of the key players that are being touted that will be sold to generate income, or the only player that can be sold to generate a lot of income, is Lukaku. So there's a lot of rumors that Lukaku may come back to Chelsea. And being that they have won the Champions League, what better attraction can a club give to a player? So it's rumors, I'm not sure.
Yes, I don't have a problem that Lukaku can come in, but does he really fit the tactical of Tuchel? You know, Lukaku is one player. I think the person who has really managed to manage him well and also to be able to unleash his potential is Conte. So, okay, well, if he comes back to the Premier League, well and good. But what I will not like to see at Anfield is having Sterling back. No, where will he play? He can't. No, we don't want him.
You want to bring him back.
That's the speculation I'm reading online, and even people are saying that we will be thinking of Coutinho, but no, those are the guys who left. I think the squad we have at the moment is doing well, even though those guys they had much burnout over time. But you saw when we exited the Europe Championship, and we exited also the FA. Those guys had good time to relax, and even the intensity was not that up. They started performing actually, and when you see a goalkeeper ensuring that you qualify for Champions League, you know that it is special in a way. That's a header you can always watch until I don't know when I keep watching that thing. So, but I think maybe now you can give us a lineup, Andama, what we can talk about next. I think.
So actually, we were just looking at the happenings that happened in 2020, 2021 season, and
Yes.
some of them. That's actually the first one. Manchester City not winning the Champions League. The second one is Chelsea winning now the Champions League. Who thought that Chelsea, with their lackluster performances, when they started the league, they were poor, and at some point they went some games unbeaten, and on the way they sacked their legendary manager, Frank Lampard, and all of a sudden, even Tuchel in the Premier League did not perform actually well.
Yes.
Because at some point he performed well. Towards the end of the season, he didn't get good results. You know, he was beaten. I mean, he was just a tactical, what do you call it? A tactic from him that won him the Champions League. So, how do you rate Chelsea performance throughout the season, Gilbert?
Basically, what I learned from Chelsea is that billionaires reason differently than other mortals like me and you. When Abramovich gave the order for Lampard to be sacked, a lot of us saw that it was unfair. He should have given him time. He was bringing up a good crop of young players into the team. He should have been given time to see them flourish and gel, and maybe accomplish the project that he was starting out. But as the season ends, most of us are like, that move of Abramovich was a stroke of genius. Because out of nowhere, no one could have never imagined that Chelsea could even be in a shout for winning the Champions League. So that goes to show you that the rotating circle for managers in Chelsea has been frowned upon by a lot of people, but it has brought results. Since Abramovich came into Chelsea, there's no other club that has won more trophies than Chelsea.
That's true.
So the second half of the season was he came in and reorganized the defense, brought in people that Lampard had frozen out, like Rudiger. Rudiger has been immense. Sometimes I wonder what Lampard didn't see in Rudiger that Tuchel has seen in Rudiger, for Rudiger to be churning out such remarkable performances. So Tuchel came in, switched the formation, played the formation that suited the players that he had. His defensive record has been so good. Maybe at the end of the season he's wobbled a bit, but he's still qualified for the Champions League, and he's still won the Champions League. So what is needed in the squad is a little bit of strengthening here and there. So they'll be in for winning the league next season. The league, it will be so tough.
Right.
They'll have a shout in the league title next season because their defense is so strong, their midfield is so strong. Their weakness has been a goal scorer, because if you look at their top goal scorer right now, it is this penalty guy,
Jorginho.
Jorginho is their top scorer, and most of those goals are penalties. So if they bring in a good striker who can give them 20, 25 goals in the Premiership, they'll be easily in a shout for the Champions League. I don't know whether they can get Kane. I don't know if Kane can move from Tottenham to Chelsea because of the club rivalries, but things are looking more bleak for rival fans like Manchester United and Arsenal, because Chelsea are strengthening a lot with the Champions League win. It gives them, it makes them more attractive.
Mm-hmm.
If a good prospect of a player that is promising is out there, and he sees Chelsea have won the Champions League, and there are two suitors, maybe Manchester United, Liverpool, and Man City.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely, he'll want to go to the club that has achieved success. So those are the worries I have as a Manchester United fan, but the work is in the management. So Chelsea next season, the targets will get higher because Abramovich is a very demanding owner.
Mm-hmm.
The last time they won the Champions League, the coach was sacked mid through the next season. So Tuchel shouldn't rest easy. He should strive to at least maintain the success that he's been able to achieve in the short time that he's had with the club.
All right. So regarding Chelsea, and we have seen something that has been so consistent with Chelsea Football Club over the past 15 years. Actually, like you said, Chelsea has been the most successful club in the last decade or so in terms of what they have been able to put together. Because Chelsea, to be honest, was not a big club before. But right now, it has overtaken teams like, Arsenal. Arsenal just, have been just there, doing whatever we know them doing. And now, all these achievements, when you look at what Chelsea has been able to achieve, there has been a model in the way the club is managed. Look at a club like Chelsea, compared with a club with Manchester United. You could see a very, very big gap in terms of management and the way the club is run. Talk of the hierarchy in terms of in terms of the club owners, their intentions. Talk of the management, the people who have been put in place to make key decisions in the club. You see, Chelsea, even the way they conduct their transfer window, their transfer dealings, you could see a clear way of doing these things. They buy, they don't sell low, they don't release players who are out of contract. They make sure that they get money out of each and every player that leaves the club. Whichever player who doesn't suit the system of Chelsea is sold before his value goes down. Talk about people like Morata, 50 million pounds. Morata, who was like another Timo Werner, who was like shooting blanks now and again. 50 million pounds. We're talking about people like Eden Hazard, who wanted out. Of course, he achieved. He wanted out, but look at the price. The amount of money they cooked from his sale, and many more sales. Right now, there's a youngster called Tomori Fikayo, who was frozen out during Rampart's era, went to AC Milan on loan. AC Milan now are preparing a 28 million pound, transfer for him. That is Chelsea for you. What is this that Chelsea are doing that other teams like Manchester United and and Arsenal are not able to emulate? Is it all about the owners, or is it about even the people who are put at the helm of the club?
I think Abramovich is a person who loves football, and he didn't go into football to make money. He went into football to make Chelsea the best club in the world.
Mm-hmm.
So he spends a lot of money on the club. Maybe the club does not generate a lot of money. That's not his issue. He's not concerned about the dividends that the club will give to him, like maybe the Glazers. He's not concerned about maybe the expenses and all that. His main aim is to make Chelsea Football Club the best club in the world. So he's employed or he has a team that is very financially adept. They make their dealings and their moves so efficient. The moves they pulled last season in getting those like 3 or 4 players to come in. A club like Manchester United will haggle and haggle and haggle and make those moves like at the end of the season. But if they target a player, they go for him. The money that is want, they won't bargain for so much. So their financial department or their transfer department is top notch. How they handle the players is top notch. The only issue I have is they have a lot of players out on loan who never get a chance to come back and maybe stake a claim for the first team. But they are run very, very well. They are run very well. So that's what other clubs need to emulate. Clubs that were maybe big in 5 or 6 years ago and now we're struggling. We need to emulate that, because the more Chelsea pull away, the tougher it will be for other clubs that were there. Let's say, for example, Arsenal. Arsenal right now is finished in the middle of the table. You'll struggle to attract top talent. You'll struggle to do good financial dealings because of the lack of finances, based on missing out on the Champions League or missing out on top 4 position, playing in the Europa League and so forth. So it will be a lot tougher. So the other clubs need to tighten their belts and play catch up, because the way football is going, prudence in financial management is key. And that's basically the reason why these top clubs wanted to go for this project that they had. There was a lot of backlash from fans, but from my own reasoning, it was because of the finances. The player salaries and the expenses at the clubs have gone so high that they've surpassed the revenue that comes in. So they saw that option as an option that they'll guarantee them a steady source of high income for those clubs, whether they qualify for. There will be no issue of qualifying for top 4 or not, or playing in the Champions League. So the issue is finances. So these top clubs, for if you want to succeed, you have to be prudent on the financial end, and that is the way to go. If you not handle that, then the club will be in decline. A club like Barcelona right now has like a debt of over 1 billion. They struggle even to purchase players for 30 million pounds. Aguero went there on a free transfer.
Yeah.
So it's hard for them to progress, attract top talent, retain the talent that they have on the mega salaries that they're there. So Chelsea's example should be emulated by other clubs to survive or to maintain top performances.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair enough. Now let's look at Manchester United, finishing second in the English Premier League, which was a good shout from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Good performances throughout the season, and only that he left it a bit too late at the start of the season. You know, it wasn't so much convincing. Many fans wanted him out, but he steadied the ship along the way. Of course, he dropped from the Champions League. It came to the Europa League.
Europa League.
He went all the way to the finals, only to bottle it out there. How can you rate his performance in general?
Solskjaer is lucky. He's lucky. He should thank his lucky stars, because he lacks managerial brilliance. He has good players that churn out good performances for him, but he lacks the tactical brilliance, like what we saw from someone like Thomas Tuchel, what you saw from someone like Brendan Rodgers. because from the position we were in the Champions League at a given stage in time, I think we were top of that group or second in that group. To end up losing, we had 2 games that we had to look for at least a draw. I think the one for PSG and RB Leipzig. We ended up losing both games and the Europa League. He heads to the Champions League Europa League final, and he bottles that match. You play 90 minutes with all the players, go to extra time, you come and change players in the extra time against a team that finished 7th in the Spanish league. I mean, seriously, that was a trophy that was the marker that he needed to make to herald a new like regime for trophies. That would have been the stepping stone. So a lot of former players and a lot of fans say give him time. He's building a new squad. He's made progress. But I tell them, look at what Abramovich did. He sacked a legend, brought in someone who can deliver, and he's delivered the Champions League.
True.
What a lot of Manchester United fans, me included, but I'm a bit wiser. We grew up watching Manchester United in the Ferguson era. That was the success we were accustomed to. A manager comes in, give him time, like 3-4 years. He starts getting trophies, and that success is sustained for a period of like 20 or so years. So a lot of Manchester United fans and former players think that is the blueprint that will guarantee success in Manchester United. Bring a coach in, a coach that develops the youth, give him time, and he'll be able to emulate what Ferguson will emulate. But lightning doesn't strike the same place twice. What Ferguson achieved maybe cannot be achieved by a manager in the current environment. Ferguson managed Manchester United in an era whereby Manchester United were the richest club in England. They could have the money to buy all the top players of rival teams, have the muscle to perform well in the Champions League and all that. Right now, Manchester City have a lot of fuel money from the Arabian owners. Abramovich has brought in a lot of money to Chelsea. Equally, Liverpool have a very rich owner. So the style of management or the style of operations that will bring back success does not necessarily mean it should be the blueprint of what Ferguson achieved in that era. And that's what a lot of fans fail to get. So in my own way, if a manager doesn't perform 1 or 2 seasons and there's a good manager available, get that manager out, get the new manager. 3 seasons sustained success, the squad peaks. If results starting going down, sack him, bring someone else. That's the way to go. Abramovich has been doing that since he came to the club. They've been winning trophies more than any other club has been able to win. So that's my own view of how it should be. So in my analysis, Solskjaer, very lucky, good at management. The players love him. He's an affable guy, approachable, never he will not prosecute his players in the media. He will not throw them under the bus. The players love him. But on the tactical aspect, he's a bit lightweight. He doesn't have that managerial brilliance to make changes in a match that will switch a match and win that match. So he can guarantee a top 4 position, but going back to the pinnacle of the Premier League and Champions League wins, I don't see it happening.
Yeah, we're talking about management. You just mentioned it. I just remembered. I was watching the final the Europa League final against Villarreal. Again, it's one of the managers that we sacked as Arsenal Football Club. And you could just
Exactly.
you could just look at the way that game was going. Unai Emery just wanted that goal, and they knew that Manchester United were going to score. That one he was sure. But in the second half, those people, during the dying moments of the second half, those people were playing for the penalties. And you know very, very, very well that Spanish teams, they are more technically gifted in terms of penalty shootouts. Those guys
Exactly.
never miss penalties.
And we had a goalkeeper that has not saved a penalty in the last 6 years. Imagine that. And a coach who thinks would have made that change without thinking that, maybe I'll hurt the goalkeeper's ego, I'll crush his morale. You want results. Van Gaal did it in the World Cup. He didn't do it. He didn't make that change. Am I saying that if he had changed the goalkeeper, we'd have won that match? Maybe. But play to your strengths. Play to your strengths. Cavani, in the second half of the season, he scored most of his goals with Pogba playing out on the left. In that match, he started Rashford out of the left. Rashford has been atrocious this season. In fact, if I was the football director and someone good becomes available like Grealish, I'd bring Grealish in, put Rashford back to the bench, because ever since he started his off-field activities in charity work, I'm not saying charity work is bad, but his performances of the pitch has really gone down. Rashford cannot beat a player. Rashford does not know when to cross, does not know when to shoot. He just thrives on counter-attacking football only.
That's true.
But when he faces a team that plays a low-lying defensive line, teams in the bottom half of the league, like let's say a Brighton or a West Brom, he cannot do anything. So Solskjaer doesn't have the balls to make such strong decisions. Right now, Phil Foden has benched Sterling. Guardiola is a manager who can see if a player is better than the other one, regardless of the status of that player, regardless of the time that player has played in the club, regardless of the contribution that player has brought on the club. If your performances are down, you'll go to the bench. Who would have ever imagined that Laporte will be benched by John Stones? And in the season that Liverpool won the league, a lot of people say that Laporte's injury that season played a big part in Liverpool having an easier time to win the Premier League title. That's the same thing I'm trying to say in terms of Solskjaer in his managerial abilities, because Rashford has been performing poorly, but he always insists he wants to play Rashford. We brought in Van de Beek. He's started only 4 games the whole season, a player that we bought for 40 million. So in my own regard, Solskjaer, maybe he'll deliver us top 4. Champions League last 16. That's the match I expect from him. But winning the Premiership, fighting for the top trophies like the Ferguson era, he doesn't have that tactical brilliance to take us up to that level.
Okay, let me bring in.
And the sooner the club management sees that, the sooner the former players see that, the better it will be for us. But supporting a manager just because he's a club legend, Paolo has just been sacked by Juventus for not winning the Scudetto. That shows you the ambition of a club. But in Manchester United, former player, he scored the winning goal in the Champions League in 1999. Let's give him time. He's brought in young players. You'll sing that story for 3-4 seasons while Chelsea is changing managers every season, but they're winning silverware. Yeah.
Okay, let me bring in Innocent. Innocent, we were talking about Manchester United and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, their manager there. And I just want to ask you a question. I don't want to repeat on what Gilbert has said. Is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer the manager for Manchester United? If Manchester United need to achieve things in the future, is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer the man to take them there?
No. I think the whole hype about club legends don't win you trophies. They're just popular. And if you want to win trophies, you need a tactical manager. Ole Gunnar is not a bad guy, but at the moment, I think the level Manchester United needs a manager who can win trophies for you. You know, when I look at Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, what he has done at the moment is, well, he has tried to bring on the young lads like Greenwood, a guy who is so good, but who never starts. And I've never understood why that is the case. But and at the moment, I think Ole Gunnar, the best he can do for Manchester United maybe is to give those domestic results that where maybe the club finish at top 4, but next season is going to be very tough. If you saw towards the end of the season, the way Manchester United was performing is actually what really saved them is that they had hit that 70-point mark, which other teams that were fighting for the top 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, they had not hit the 70-point mark. So the reason why I'm saying that is Ole Gunnar needs maybe to try at the domestic league, or maybe he needs to manage a club that is among the top 10 half, so that he can perform and also be tactical at the end of the day, and then he can be material for Manchester United. And again, the reason why I'm not rating him that highly is because you don't have to allow a player to play who is not even performing for the club. Okay, Rashford is good, and I'm just pointing out. Hope Gilbert, you're okay with that. I don't know if you're talking about Rashford.
I've talked about him.
Rashford.
I've said if Grealish comes in, I'll bench Rashford.
Yeah, and Aston Villa doesn't need to sell anything. We need those guys to be the way they are. They have been brilliant. And for me, the player I would like to see return to Manchester United is why is the name going? The guy at West Ham. He has been brilliant. Why is the name going?
Lingard.
Lingard should come. I have my valid reasons. Is that Lingard at the end of the day is one guy who can give you goals when you least expect them. When you look at your midfield, this guy has been scoring penalties. Yes, he's good, but there is that pride that comes out of him, and is one guy that Ole Gunnar cannot even bench. Is one guy that if you don't give a pass, is so mad at you, and we don't want such a kind of characters. When you have a strong manager, I can give you an example. For instance, maybe you have a manager like Conte, or you have a manager like Allegri. However star you are, if you don't play well, you don't need to play, because the team needs results. For instance, let me give you an example. Look at, for instance, how Klopp does it. If Man is not good, or Bobby is not good, Jota has to be slotted in. So I don't see a reason why Rashford has to play, but we are hoping maybe next season it will be okay. And another thing why Ole Gunnar is not the best coach for Man U at the moment is that the top 4 is becoming competitive, and it needs top managers. Look at Chelsea, what they have. Look at Liverpool, what they have. Look at Manchester City, what they have. And then the reason why I look at Ole Gunnar that way is that he's a good coach, but he needs to wind up. You don't wind up at the bigger club. You start from elsewhere. An example is Steve Gerrard. He has gone there he has done it, and he needs to be there maybe in the next 2 to 3 seasons. Then it can come. He can come to the Premier League, not necessarily Liverpool. Maybe he can take up West Ham. He is beaten a little bit, and then he can come up maybe to the top 4 teams. So I think Ole Gunnar tactically is not the level of a guy Manchester United can depend if they want to win something in Europe. I think winning something in Europe, we don't need Ole Gunnar behind the wheel. We need someone who can win that, and then maybe Ole Gunnar can start maybe winning the FA, the Carling Cup, or Carabao, those things, then win the Premier League aftermath. Because at the end of the day, yes, Ole Gunnar was good during the times of Ferguson when they were playing the likes of Cantona, Keane. Yes, he was good when they were winning Champions League, but at the moment, you don't just bring in, for instance, I can give another example is Arteta. Arteta is not bad, but the level Arsenal is not supposed to be the manager. So it's the like of even you saw what Lampard was doing. The guy had to leave or he has to be sacked. So Ole Gunnar, I know there is a darling at Manchester United, but we are not replacing darling. We want a coach who can give results. So maybe I'm thinking of a situation next season, things will get tough a little bit. If Zidane is not in rush, he goes for sabbatical, he can come in and take on the wheel.
Okay. Now, now that is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer for you. And when I look at him, I mean, sometimes we look at the surrounding environment, and sometimes, you know, these club owners, whenever they appoint you, or the CEO, when they appoint you, they know what actually they are doing.
Yes.
Let me take you to Arsenal. The reason why Mikel Arteta got that job at Arsenal is not because Mikel Arteta was a good manager. He had not managed any club actually, but sometimes these owners and the CEOs, they also want to. They are looking at the financial aspect of the incoming manager. They know if we bring in Allegri, let's say it's Manchester United, if they want Allegri will not, it will ask for assurances to sign. You understand? He will say, I need these and these and these players in place for me to sign for this football club. He will command a very big salary. Okay. Now compare Allegri, who is just signed for Juventus, and a manager like Arteta and the Solskjaer. You know, Solskjaer and Arteta, when they were appointed, they were like, "Oh, this is a very big assignment. I have to take it with all my hands because now it will prepare me to maybe greater heights. I'll be known throughout the world because these are big clubs." But an astute manager, we look at some other aspects that surround the club that require him.
Well, let me come in. I'm getting your argument. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
You know, we have got top giant clubs in Europe where we have like 5 clubs in the Premier League, Serie A, Bundesliga. You don't need to bring someone who is a legend to test him. A club like Manchester United needs someone who has already been tested. And in terms of salary, actually, when you look at their domestic annual turnover, actually, they're among the top 10 richest clubs in the world. A salary is not an issue there. The reason why I think maybe the management sometimes feel like at the moment, the club cannot attract the needs, maybe Allegri needs at the moment. So, and again, they try to maybe squeeze the budget. But at the end of the day, we need the results. A club like Manchester United can attract any coach they want because very reputable coaches have managed that club, starting from Sir Alex Ferguson. Mourinho has gone there, he has won it. So Van Gaal was there and he won something. So I don't think it could be a problem with that. And again, of course, if you are a top manager, when you go there, you say, this is what I want. If they don't want to oblige or to bend towards your demands, definitely you can't deliver. You need to safeguard your name. At the end of the day, if, for instance, you're a top manager today, and you want to win trophies, because as managers, also you want to win trophies so that your scorecard can be rated higher in Europe, and you'll be getting good contracts or good gigs from different other clubs if maybe things have not gone well. For instance, I can give you an example. Pochettino didn't do well, and maybe that was a resultant from the players. But at the moment, it did not stagnate. Actually, he moved to PSG and is doing very well there, even though by a whisker, 1 point, they didn't win it, of which I'm looking forward to see how Lille can perform next season at the league. So for me, let us face it the way it is. Bigger clubs need to have bigger plans. So having coaches who are not well tested cannot really make you win trophies. Yeah, there are very few cases where a player wins a trophy, where like Zidane has done it in Madrid. We have seen Juventus tried, they didn't manage to do it. Chelsea have tried it with their legend, they have not done it. But there is a difference with good, even though you look at, for instance, Tuchel, he came in and we had new players coming in. We had the likes of we had ZH, we had Harvard. These players have not well performed, but what has happened is that when a big manager comes in with the existing squad and he knows that the potential of these players. So the thing is, skilled and actually experienced coaches, they unlock that potential of a particular player. They're very tactical. I look at that player, maybe it's N'Golo Kante. I look at that player, maybe it's Salah. I want this player to play this way. So I think that is why bigger clubs must go for bigger coaches. And a bigger coach is not that he has to be old. No, it's someone who has managed a top level. You don't start managing at the top level and then you flop, you go down. You learn over time. Coaching is all about you evolve over time. So, and the funny thing is, I can throw in a spanner is that look at PSG. They sacked Unai. He came to Arsenal. He was sacked. He has gone back to Villarreal. He has won something. They sacked Tuchel. He's a big coach. He did overstay. He came to Chelsea. He has won something. So when you're a bigger coach, even if things don't work there, it's not your problem. Maybe your tactics are not blending well with those players. So you go where you feel, if I apply my tactics here, I'm going to win, I'm going to excel, and I'm going actually to compete with other top teams or with other top managers in Europe. So I think with that case, Manchester United, they need someone who already has been tested. That's why you are seeing right now, even though Ancelotti, there is a speculation that is supposed to go to Madrid. I don't know if he has agreed the terms. They know very well that even though at Everton things didn't work out, but he has performed the level Everton is supposed to perform, he can go to Madrid and also win them trophies they want.
Okay, fair enough. That's Manchester City. Now let's move to Liverpool, your club. What went wrong?
Yes.
You guys looked, you struggled throughout the season, of course,
yes.
For some reasons that we are in the public domain. We had a lot of injuries, but even before those injuries came in, the struggle was still on. At the start of the season, we saw Liverpool going down, I don't know, 7 goals to was it?
Aston Villa. Well, let me come in.
Can I start?
Yes.
Okay. Let me mention something, then Gilbert can come in. To me, I don't want to lay the excuses that it was because of injuries. Not really. Because
It was.
Okay, well,
three first team center backs.
Wait a minute. So the thing is, yeah, even though those injuries were there, you look at the available center backs that were there, even though they were young and not that experienced. Klopp he did not trust them from onset. He started playing Fabinho there until he felt like, well, we can bring in Les Williams and Phillips to see what they can do. And actually, over time, those players have done well. And again, you look at the past 2 seasons, it has been intense. These guys have really been heroic. They have really played. So maybe tentatively, the players, they had a burnout. And even Mane, you can see at the moment, actually started picking towards the last 3 games. He has not been that relentless like the way he used to be. And Salah, I cannot complain about anything. He has been scoring, but you cannot win a trophy for the team just as a sole person. So another thing is when you look at Liverpool, sometimes there is a way Klopp was not tactical. Klopp, I don't know if he became just very comfortable and he felt like previous year had won everything in Europe, have won the league, and now I can just play. I can try some different formations. I think that also affected. But again, that back line, as Gilbert is saying, it was a challenge. But again, you need to have backups as a coach and also be sure that every player you have there. And you know, we bought some guys like Sinicas. He's one guy who has been prone in injuries. We had the likes of Jota. Jota came in, he just played 9 games and then he went off. This guy actually, he was a goal guy. He came in, he was scoring, but also he went back. So injuries tentatively was a problem. But again, you need to strategize as a coach. Do you have a real good backup? So it's something I think coaches in England, they should be very worried about. Do you have a team in reserve, or if you have those key players in your first 11 team who have been injured, how can you cope with that? And how do you switch so that you can be able to compete? So that's what I can say at the moment with Liverpool. Martin, Gilbert?
What happened to Liverpool is like Manchester United losing our captain, Bailey, and who else plays with the captain? What's his name? It's like losing the first two, Maguire, the other guy, this tattooed guy, and Bailey. Sorry?
Oh, go on.
Yes, and Bailey. And who will we play? What happened to? Yes, it's like losing Lindelof, Maguire, and Bailey. That's what happened to Liverpool.
Yeah.
So what happened was that Klopp used a makeshift defense. Sometimes he used Henderson in defense, or sometimes he used Fabinho in defense. And the guy that came in from Thiago Alcantara, what we've noted from his performances is that he cannot play with the intensity that a typical Klopp player in a Liverpool shirt have been doing. The intensity of Klopp's demands or Klopp's playing style has been too much for him. Alcantara was someone that lets the ball do the talking, or his passing range do the talking for him. But at Liverpool, the style of play that they exhibit of high press, run for with high intensity for the whole 90 minutes, it has been a challenge for him. So with all the midfielders, or both Henderson and Henderson got injured, Fabinho was brought back to defense. Wijnaldum's head has been turned since the start of this season. I don't know why he wants to leave Liverpool and go to a dying ship in Barcelona. I don't know.
I think let us face it. Gini is one guy who feels he should be a starter, and he thinks that. And also look at his age. Also, I think he's turning 29, and
29. Okay.
Yeah. So he just
his last big move.
Yeah, he wants to make a big move because actually everything has been smooth for him. And you know, the funny thing is, rumor has it even he took a pay cut to make it possible to go to Barcelona.
So maybe it was his dream.
Yeah, actually it's a dream move.
Yeah. So basically, even as you said that a manager needs to plan for such a thing, it is it is very rare to find that all your three first choice or the three first choice center backs are injured. So all credit goes to Klopp. Though things were a bit shaky, at the end he managed to qualify for the Champions League.
Yeah, and
His man management. Let me finish Kidogo. His man management with I don't know what's up with uh, Mane, because there's a time that Klopp is a very open guy. His camaraderie with the players is so good. There's a time he went to like give Mane a high five and Mane ignored him. So I don't know what's that up, because on Mane's side he's had his worst season. Even his season he had with Southampton cannot compare with this season. So I hope Klopp patches things up with on that end. Uh, I think they need to bring in like a forward. I don't know what you think, because the two players that were being relied on solely to bring in the numbers, one half of that duo underperformed. And we all know that the Brazilian guy that plays up front normally, his type of game is build-up play, or he brings the other two players into the game and lets them flourish.
okay,
So I don't know if going forward that will be a good tactic, or Klopp needs to at least freshen up his forward line, because if you do the same thing continuously for so long, and maybe in the middle of it seems to not be working, like it hasn't worked this season.
so
I think he should think of something else, or bringing someone else to at least freshen up the team, because the rivals will strengthen. Manchester United will strengthen definitely. Chelsea will bring in a forward to cover in for one as a wastefulness in front of goal. Man City, definitely there's a huge probability that they'll bring Kane into that setup. So I think Klopp needs to freshen up his squad with a few additions here and there.
well, let me
Mostly replacement of Gini Wijnaldum.
yeah, let me come in and
Yeah.
say that the thing that the whole concept that bring an overall for the team is the way Alcantara plays. You know, that midfield used to be that swift, and they flew it off the midfield. Alcantara is a bit slow, and you've seen when he loses the ball, he cannot really cover up that fast. And the way he plays, actually, it has affected how our wing backs use the flanks. So, and the way he supplies the ball for the trio also is a concern. And that thing you could see, it has really affected Mane. Mane is a guy who feels like he can come a little bit to the midfield and try to get the ball. But now that authority is not there anymore. And it is really, you know, it's like it feels he's hanging out. Like, for instance, that day he was not happy, and he felt like he really needs to play. And the way Klopp is, if I've seen maybe in the past 3 games you have not played well, I don't want to. Yeah, and I agree at some point that we need to also to do some addition. You know, Gini is one guy who was very special in a way. He could defend, he was pacey, and also he could score those goals once in a while that can win you matches. Look at Alcantara. Alcantara just scored 1 goal, if I'm not wrong, right?
Yeah, the whole season.
So the whole season, imagine, you know, a midfielder with 1 goal is not worth that midfield. And when we have Alcantara there and Henderson and Fabinho, everything is confused. You know, for me, I think Alcantara should not be a starter. If we are going to have him as a starter next season, believe you me, it will be very tough to even to finish top 4. I don't, and
yeah, it's not. He's a good player. He's an exceptional player, but he doesn't suit your playing style.
yeah, it doesn't
Yeah.
our playing. And I think maybe we could get a guy like Rafinha is one guy who can give us what we want. A guy who is creative and a guy who can score you goals. So for me, well, we are going to the new season and the center backs are going to come. Everything is going to run well. But I don't know why you guys are not talking about this guy called Konate. I don't know. Is he going to be a good pair? Hmm?
No, I think Klopp said that he's going back.
He's going back.
I don't think Klopp will retain him because sorry.
I'm talking about Karabakh. I'm talking about.
I thought you were talking about Kabak.
No, Kabak.
Konate. I thought you were talking about Kabak. Konate. A lot of attention was on his partner at RB Leipzig, and
Yes.
both of them have left. So that team's defense will be left as a shell. So I've not seen a lot of his matches, save for the Champions League. But what I know about Klopp, he researches well. The transfer policy of Liverpool, they do. I don't know if Klopp is involved, but the players he picks are normally top notch.
Do you think is a starter ahead of Gomez, Phillips, and
That guy.
Okay, basically the issue I have with Gomez and Matip is their injury record. I can't remember a season whereby Gomez has played a whole season without being laid off for like a week or 2 weeks. Same for Matip.
Yeah.
So for you to have consistency in your defensive lineup, more so your two center backs, you need a partnership that can play like around 30 games of the Premiership together.
Yeah.
And not be forced to change the partnership because of injuries. Because Van Dijk has been a mainstay in that defensive lineup, but you can't say like in Manchester United era where Vidic was playing with Ferdinand, they played for a pretty long time, but Liverpool has been affected. Van Dijk has not been able to create a very long defensive partnership with a consistent partner. There was a time he was so consistent with Joe Gomez, he got injured, Matip came in. So I think what Klopp wants is someone that can be consistent, not injury prone all the time, because the games you play in England are so many. So I think that's the reasoning.
Why didn't he go for Cash? I think Cash is
who is Cash?
Matty Cash of Aston Villa.
Yes, is reliable.
Yeah, I mean, these are some of the players that are okay. I also like Matty Cash because these are players that do some things in the Premiership and nobody actually praises them because he's one guy.
Cool. Them to Rhodes over Wolves.
Yeah, so these are some of the guys.
Yes,
who are so much underrated, but whenever they play, you see what they bring to a team. I was looking for some other guy in Ajax who has been linked to Arsenal and Bayern Munich, actually a right back.
Yes.
He's a Moroccan international. His name is Mazrui.
Yes.
I mean, the guy is so good, but even the price that he's going for, they're saying he's going for 15 million euros, but you look at what that guy does, nobody has ever even identified what he does, but he's a good guy. So we have Premiership players who are playing in the English Premier League, but nobody's giving them a shout. But coming to Konate, just like you said, Konate is a good defender. Konate and this other guy who is going to is going to Bayern Munich. Upamecano. Those guys.
He had some bad performances.
Yeah, but now when you
I'm really doubtful about him.
Yeah, when you compare Konate and Upamecano, actually the guy who has been who has been holding the defense for RB Leipzig is Konate. Upamecano is a good guy, very fast, but his positioning, general positioning in defense has not been so good. It's one guy you can beat to the ball, especially when you run to him. You know, we have these pacey wingers that are very tactical. With
Yeah, I remember we beat them. Was it 4-0 or 5-0 in the Champions League?
yes.
Yeah.
So you see how I don't know whether it was Rashford or what was who tied him inside out. So you
Yeah,
look
it was
at
Rashford.
yeah, Konate for me, if he maintains the performances that he has shown there at RB Leipzig, he's a good defender who is tall, astute in the air, who does the simple thing. It doesn't go for those spectacular things. He keeps everything simple and he wins whenever you want to win.
So are you guys saying that if Van Dijk is fit through the season, Konate is fit, and also our defensive midfielder Fabinho is fit, we're going to have an iron defense?
Yeah, and that depends on how the coach wants to line up the players, because looking at Konate, he's young, he's 22 years old. I don't know, 22 or 21. So he has, even though he might not maybe come in and perform immediately, he's one guy you can give time, to develop to be whatever he has shown to be. So people like Van Dijk, they're not growing any younger.
Yes.
That is what we see a difference in management. Klopp has seen, like Van Dijk, if it happens that he has another injury, maybe in any what will happen to the club? The club will still crumble the way it has crumbled this time around. So he has to ensure that there is continuity in the club. 21-year-old, very, very strong, very technically gifted, who can deputize this guy whenever he's not there, or they can even play together. You understand? And so, to me, that was a good move. Now, the ball is on Konate's court to replicate what he has shown there in Germany, in England. Of course, the environment will be different. It will be different. England is very fast. The wingers will test you. You'll be tested game in, game out. But if he has a strong mentality, he's one guy who can deliver the goods for a Liverpool Football Club.
I can't remember. I struggle to pinpoint a player who has come from Germany and excelled in the Premier League.
Mm-hmm.
Can we name one?
Let me see from Germany.
Werner struggled, Havertz struggled. We got this guy who is at Roma. He came to Man United, went to Arsenal. Mkhitaryan struggled. So that's also
who was playing for Chelsea and then he went back to Germany. Am I forgetting him? He was actually
he scored the final goal in the sixth goal when Germany beat Brazil.
Yes.
I struggle to remember his name. So my point is, even if Konate is coming, he has to up his game, because England is quite tough. Based on those examples that we are given, a lot of players who come in from Germany to England struggle to keep up with the pace and the intensity of the Premiership. We don't have a winter break. The competitions, the cup games are so many. So a lot of work will need to be done on him from the coaching end to bring him up to par.
I think one of the things, and this one I need to ask you guys, how good is Klopp when it comes to players management? Like, is he really good? Why are we having injuries all over? Like, should he do something? Player management is a challenge for Klopp.
I don't think so. Maybe you're talking of player management from the side of injuries, but from the side of upgrading a player from.
I'm talking in terms of not the way of playing, but in terms of physicality of a player. Like, do you think that kind of intensity of the game Klopp has really affects players? They cannot keep the pace. They can't have the gas, so that's why they break down. They get those injuries because
Yes, I
look at our center backs. They had that problem. Look at this guy is so good, but Chamberlain, he can't keep with that intensity. The only guy who has managed to, and I don't know how he is doing it, is Salah. Salah has really managed that intensity, and I don't know how he does it. Year in, year out. So, but it's one thing Klopp also should look at that. Also, these players, they are not metals. You need to also manage them in terms of their physicality, so that we are able to see players not in and out of injury. It's like now a cyclic. Look at Jota came, the intensity that guy could not survive. And so look at even Kabarak came, he got an injury. So is it something you Klopp should look into? He's a good coach. He can elevate players, but in terms of the physicality management of a player, is this something he needs to look into? Gilbert.
That intensity won Liverpool the Premier League after 30 years. That intensity won Liverpool the Champions League since they last won it in 2005.
Yes.
So if you bring that conversation to a manager, those are the two trophies he'll use to counter that argument.
Okay.
So the question is, do you bring in players who can be able to match that intensity, or do you have a larger squad like mimic that one for Manchester City, whereby each position has like two top class players that can fit in? So that's the conversation he needs to be having going forward with the management, because the kind of intensity he had, bar it not being for the injuries he had, I'm pretty damn sure the Liverpool would have been one of the contenders for winning retaining the Premier League. But the only solution I see, because Klopp won't change his tactics, but he needs to have a bigger squad. The question is, does Liverpool have the finances to finance that?
Yeah, that's a good
Because
question.
if you look like a team like Manchester City, the left back, they have Cancelo, Zinchenko, all top class players. Right back position, the same. Midfield position, the top, the front line position. And that's where Liverpool struggles. If Salah gets injured right now, you're looking at the Kenyan, the guy with the Kenyan father who was born in Belgium, and
yes.
he doesn't match up to. He can't play with the same intensity that Salah plays. So that's the only solution I see from there. But if you want to tell Klopp to change the way he plays, then the conversation will be different. He'll say we're not in the same wavelength. I've done my part. Let me leave. Let someone else come in.
So the solution here is that in terms of maybe
have a bigger squad.
The owners should invest more to a bigger squad, and
yes, have a bigger squad.
Have a good player. You have to give them salary because they know I'm coming in as a good player, but I'm not going to get those games I want. I could be benched, but I know my chance will come. And that's something the Liverpool owners, they're a bit mean when it comes to finances. Klopp has to.
No, they're not rich enough.
Yeah, let me come in. I mean, about Liverpool, I think one of the things that has affected them this season is the lack of that squad depth, because squad depth does not only guarantee that you have players that are able to perform every week, but also it cushions the club in terms of competition. When you have players like Sadio Mane, who can decide to misbehave, and because they know that nobody is able to play the way they play.
In fact, if you had done that for someone like Ferguson, you'll be sold in the next season.
Yeah,
I think that was a very bad show from him.
Yeah, because to be honest, a coach like manager like Klopp is one guy you can't miss to get along with. He's a guy who is old enough to be like your father, who commands respect and who we haven't seen a lot of controversies from him. So
Yeah.
in the public domain, he's a good guy. On the field, he's a good guy. But when you get a player who is trying to show that he's over and above the manager, that wasn't. So when you have this squad depth, it is going to ensure that if somebody is not on his laces, somebody of the same caliber is able to come in. We're looking at Manchester City. The reason why Manchester City is able to perform week in, week out, especially in the league, is because they have cover in like every position, right? When this player is not there, or is injured, or he's had a run of games, another one is able to deputize and they also perform according to the standards set by the manager. And so this squad depth we're talking about, comes with a cost. For you to have
Very.
squad depth, you have to invest, because they're not going to have, these average players as squad depth.
So, and for me, my solution is that these scouts for the club, they really, I don't know why they go very far from the Premier League, because every good cover up you need the top teams, you can actually shop it within the Premier League, because some of these clubs, yeah, they can sell, but they cannot be that expensive.
No, Premier League players are so expensive. If we got someone like Wan Bissaka for 50 million, Konate was gotten for how much? 30-something million, and Konate seems to be a bigger player than Wan Bissaka in my view. So I think one of the reasons why a lot of managers or clubs go abroad, because abroad the players are much cheaper.
I don't know how keen you guys are with the championship. We have good lads down there, very good players who play those 24 games, actually 48 without injury. Guys who can really give you what you want, the value of your money. But yeah, because look at the team like Bradford, they have been good, right? That's why they're back.
I think what caught me about Brentford is the striker they had scored 30-something goals, if I'm not wrong, 34 goals.
And it's not easy down there.
That piqued my attention a lot.
Yeah, even Tony or somebody. I know even Tony scoring a lot of goals in the Premiership. Of course, there are a lot of good players. Talking about strikers, especially most of these top teams right now, apart from let's say Manchester United, if they want like a top striker going into the next season, of course, we have Cavani there, but we need another striker who can give competition, or who can play a lot of games. This guy, what is his club? Is it Aston Villa? The striker at Aston Villa.
Keane. Atkins.
Not Keane.
No,
Atkins.
Only Watkins.
Yeah, Watkins.
Yeah, Watkins.
That guy, I've been following him for a long time. Going back to the Premiership, that guy scored a lot of goals, and he has not stopped. Even though the Premier League is a bit tougher, but he's one guy. If you surround him with the right players, right midfielders, that guy can give you goals, and you're not going to regret. So we have a lot of those.
The challenge comes in also is that you get a good striker from Championship, you bring him on board to the Premier League, where you have very expensive wingers like Mane and Salah. Do you expect them to pass the ball to this guy? However good the lad is, they can't. You don't expect Rashford to pass.
It's about the team winning.
Yeah, it's about the team winning, but this is a new guy who has just come in, and he has not commanded a lot of cash. So, let us face it. Players also, they do have that, but it cannot be shown. So,
Bamford is also a good example.
Pardon?
Bamford is also a good example.
Yeah, the guy Bamford has been actually wonderful. He has really scored goals for Leeds, and I think he's also, even in Championship, he really scored goals for them. So he's a good player also. the good thing is he's well surrounded with good midfielders who can really make him shine and score. And he's a guy who scores when you need it. You know, when I look at Manchester United at the moment, that Cavani is at the good position. You know, he scores when it's supposed to score. You know, is one guy if he's a box with one defender or it's a good aerial ball, he scores. The positioning is wonderful, and I think that one comes with an experience, and is one guy Manchester should maybe keep for 2 seasons, and probably he could win you something.
Okay, let's just rush this one because we're running out of time.
Yes.
Let's go to Mourinho, Arsenal Football Club, and Leicester. First thing first, Mourinho getting started. What is your reaction to that? Was he the cause of maybe the performance at Tottenham, or Tottenham just had no basis of sacking him, and maybe the ship was already drowning? What do you think?
I think they should have at least given him the chance to play in the Carabao Cup final before letting him leave. I think that was a bit unfair, but we all know Mourinho is a dinosaur right now. His era is long gone. The tactics he used to use, the kind of players we have right now cannot generate the results that the tactics he used to generate results back then. Mourinho was a player who used to blast a player in the media, expecting him to come back stronger or with a better result to prove him wrong. Right now, when you blast a player in such a manner, and the era of social media, a lot of hate comes in. So you get a player crumbles instead of flourishing with such kind of criticism. A good example is Luke Shaw. Under Mourinho, Luke Shaw was a shell of a player, but right now he's flourishing. I think he rushed a bit to go to Roma. I think he sat there when he saw Conte resigning. I think he sat there wishing I could have waited a little bit, because with Conte gone, I think, and Mourinho available, he had a big shout on getting that Inter Milan job. So I wish him well in Roma, but I think his time at the top level management is gone. I don't think he'll ever get that big club again, unless he changes his tactics or the way he operates. But with the same brand of football and the same tactics he employs, it will be very hard for him to get a top football club. The next question was on Arsenal or Leicester.
Leicester, you know, is one club that...
Or we can let Innocent talk about Mourinho before we go to Leicester.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Let us face it head on the way, guys. I think for me, managers tactically they should evolve with the dynamics, because being modernized in a way that you have to conform your attitude to also to push it to your tactics. You look at Mourinho at Tottenham, I think the players themselves were not even maybe comfortable way he was managing them in terms of tactics. Like the player who really thrived during Mourinho's era at Tottenham is Son, but the rest I didn't see them perform. Look the way he sidelined Dele Ali, and yes, Kane was there, but you could see basically Mourinho, the mind of Kane was not in Tottenham. Even right now, he doesn't want to talk about his future. He's insisting that right now the mind is focused to the Euros. I think the player attitude also contributed, and also the tactics by Mourinho. Mourinho, there's one thing he needs to learn. Yes, you want something with Madrid, you want something with Inter Milan, you've won trophies with Manchester. but that one doesn't make you a superhero, because other coaches are coming in, tactics are changing, and also where you go, you are having new players, and these new players, they're within that soccer dynamics at the moment, something Mourinho doesn't put into consideration. Mourinho is one guy who can decide to play defensively and just tell others to just kick the ball up front so that one guy scores. I think you should have a flower game, not just a boring game, and also aim to win. And I think tactically Mourinho failed at Tottenham. Yes, Gilbert is saying he could have played that final. Do you think he could have won it?
I think so. Mourinho is so good with finals.
All right. So I know Mourinho divides opinions, especially when you look at his career. I mean, some people argue like they will say one guy who past his best tactics are they're not working now because football has transitioned. New managers are coming in, new tactics, and for him, it's like he was left behind because he was not coping up with the the current environment, with what we are seeing in the world football. So for him, I don't know. I'm not the best admirers of Mourinho because the rivalry between Mourinho and Arsenal has been long, and he used to bash us every now and again. He doesn't. Right now, I hear there are strong rumors that he wants to take Granit Xhaka from Arsenal. He wants to take him to Roma. His primary target, first target is Granit Xhaka, and he has spoken so highly of Granit Xhaka. So for me, I think for him to succeed, he has to, to give the mentality of the whole, come to the future and face the future the way it is. So for me, maybe it's about time he found a club that is not very much competitive, maybe try to push up, but going to a club that has higher demands like clubs, you are going to be on the spotlight every now and again. And if your tactics are not current, you are not going to do it. You will only be embarrassing yourself. That's exactly what he's been doing. Riding on the fact that he won things on Madrid, went to Inter Milan, won things, came to Chelsea. Now his ship started falling when he came to Manchester United because the expectation was so high. But now, Manchester United, sacking him, going I don't know where, coming back and not working. It was a lot. And he's a manager with a lot of his money management as well. He divides, opinion whenever he goes. There's some players he finds, there's some players he kind of favors publicly, and that's for a manager who wants to,
Actually, Mourinho is one guy who can stagnate your career even however how good you are. If you don't conform to his tactics, you are not a good player. And I think that attitude is he should drop. And maybe right now he needs to. Me, I thought he will stay at Tottenham, build up very well, and also maybe win a trophy or two. Things didn't go well. The management were not comfortable with it, and also even the players. And just to ask you guys, what do you think of Marcelo Bielsa?
He's an idealist. He's an idealist. He's not pragmatic. What do I mean by that? He prides himself playing attractive, expansive style of football, but he does not change that style to have an edge over the opponent. Because if you saw the match we played against them, there's a match we beat them, I think it was 6 or 5-1. The Leeds matches will be so entertaining football would be played with breakneck speed. Defense would be played with the high line, and that's how he plays all his games. He does not tweak his lineup or the type of football he plays to suit maybe the opposition. So that, in my view, is his major weakness. I think there's a time in when they in the Division One. I think there's a goal that was scored when a player was injured, and he instructed his own players to, when the game began, to let the other team to score intentionally so that they can have parity on that. So he's an idealist guy. He works very differently. He's a type of guy who can come into a club and bring in the right culture and the right foundations for a different style of play. But moving you to the top echelons of performances in terms of winning the major trophies, I don't think he's that kind of manager. But a lot of top managers view him so highly. Guardiola views him so highly. There's a time we went to Argentina and they had a talk about football for like around 8 or 10 hours. So yeah, that's what I think about him.
Yeah, personally, I think he's a good manager, and the only thing one guy who usually that is very good, especially the football he plays. Whenever he has gone, he's one guy who has managed very, very well. Now the Premiership, look at where Leeds from. This actually is a very big club. Only that it went down around 15 years ago. Bring them back, and you see what he's able to do. So the only problem I have is like the way say, you cannot play the way you play through against Aston Villa. It's not the play against. These are two different teams that have different. So when you play the same, you kind of that's the problem. You have to, every game you have to play because we are facing different kinds of players. So if he changes that, maybe knows how to manage his game well, because he kind of biggest strength. But going it's like he doesn't care much about it because the team we have seen a lot of them going to the defense, and so he has to if there's something he has to change, the way he sees opponents. Football changes week in, week out. You have to prepare for an opponent the whole season. So if he changes that, I think he can achieve it. I don't think whether we answered your question.
You want to talk about Leeds or Leicester?
That was Leeds.
That was Leeds. Now, for me, if I was to talk about Leicester, what I would say is Brendan is a good coach, but I don't know towards the end why he does bottle it up. Because honestly, let us look at the way it is. This season, Leicester should be top 4. But the last game, I don't know how they allowed Spurs to run riot. Bale was not so good. He really shined that game. And Iheanacho also has been good. So for me, maybe sometimes Brendan is unlucky. The same thing happens to when he was playing, he was the coach for Liverpool. You saw Gerrard tripped, and then Mbaba scored that goal that costed us the title. The same thing also when we were playing with Crystal Palace the last game. We lost that game. So is he unlucky, or don't know. Leicester have, but I don't know what I can say at the moment. Maybe they're unlucky.
Brendan Rodgers has been one of the most successful managers at Celtic
Yeah.
when he was there. He came into Leicester side that had won the league, but there's some season that has passed after they had won that league, and he's done the best. Winning the FA Cup, the first time they've done that in their history, was a commendable achievement. Bottling up the top four was really unlucky for them, because the season they'd had was a very commendable season. I think one of their talisman tapered off when the season ends. I think Vardy's struggling. Age has started catching up with him. I haven't seen him change the style of play that he used to play, playing on the edge of the defender's shoulder, running, waiting for those runs. At 33, I don't know if he's 33 or 34, he won't be able to maintain that kind of play with his age. So I think that's up to the coach to maybe guide him to tweak how he plays. So Leicester playing in the Europa League was I think they will be a bit disappointed in that, because Liverpool were destined to play in the Europa League. How Leicester made them or slipped up and made them come back, and how Tottenham beat Leicester at the expense of Chelsea qualifying for the Champions League. I think it was a bad result for them. They'll be very disappointed in playing the Europa League, but again, they'll be pretty happy with winning the FA Cup. So it wouldn't be a very bad qualifying for the Champions League. Wouldn't be very bad for them, because they're just participants. You wouldn't fancy Leicester going all there and winning the Champions League. So if you tell them, if you are giving this question to maybe the coach, do you want to qualify? Do you want to win the FA Cup or qualify for the Champions League? Basically, they'll tell you, I'd wish to win the FA Cup, because you can qualify for the Champions League. Yes, it will give you more money, but we are not at that level that we can go the way and even maybe reach the quarterfinals or the semifinals. So I think the season has been successful for them.
So you're saying for Brendan Rodgers this season it was a success, because honestly in the past season they have qualified for Champions League, but nothing has come out of it. And it's the same thing to Tottenham also. Well, to say also Manchester City, they have been relentless, qualified that Champions League, but also nothing is coming out of it. So well, let's say that Europa League, maybe, who knows, it could be a successful Leicester.
Yeah, the reason why I ask this is because Leicester is one of the teams like 7 years, 7 years, ever since they came to the up there, and nobody has to rate them. Like especially this season, they have been the second, the better part of the season. They slipped to third when they lost that to Manchester United, but they have been at that level. They have been operating at that level. Going back to last season, also, that's exactly what happened. We were there until they bottled it towards the end of the season, and sometimes what really happens when it comes to the course of the season for this Leicester City, because, well, I mean, it's a well-balanced team with a good management. Well, they have beaten beat anybody, anywhere. That's one of the teams that can beat you anywhere, home or away. And there's another team that also you cannot really know what to expect from them. So I sometimes think maybe the mentality the players, especially when it matters most. When they are under pressure to perform, I don't think they do that, especially when they know they only need to draw against Tottenham to qualify. Don't do that. When they know they're supposed to, I mean, even they are losing against Newcastle United 4-2 when all they needed is just to win. So I think there is a problem, and maybe the manager has to address that going forward, because for a team, it's not only having players but impacting the winning mentality.
Oh, that's great. So guys, I have these last questions. Maybe we could exit. Gilbert and Jim and Dama, I want you to give me the lineup of your prediction for the top 4 come next season.
Yeah, I was getting to that. I was actually getting to that, because we have let's have 10 more minutes before we go. So that's about Leicester. Now, there is a big problem with Arsenal Football Club. Arsenal is no longer a big club like we always know. Usually it was Manchester United, Liverpool, Arsenal, and the rest will follow. But right now, let's face it, even Leicester coming to the equation. Now Chelsea is winning. No, those are 2 Champions Cups, 2 Europa League Cups. The Cups Chelsea is winning. I mean, what is happening with Arsenal, and what is the problem there? Or just quickly before we the expectation for next.
It's a hard one. It's really a hard one. You can't pinpoint. It's hard to pinpoint what's wrong with Arsenal Football Club, because the rot has been going on season in, season out, season in, season out. It's hard to pinpoint because it starts from the top. I think former players have been pushing for the owner of Spotify to acquire the club, and I think what they see is that the current owner of the club is not leading the club to the right way or back to where they were. So they think maybe having a new owner with a new strategy, a new ideas, or a new outlook to where, or a new vision or to where the club wants to go is the way to go. And I totally support them, because Kroenke's tenure has not been so successful. It has been a failure. The players that have come in have failed. The transfers that they done, getting Willian out of Chelsea was a complete disaster. Pepe has not flourished the way we expected him to flourish, coming on the back of good performances or good stats in France. Lacazette has tapered off. When he came in, he started so well. Aubameyang has had disciplinary issues. In fact, I think that he was just angling for a mega salary, and once he signed that contract for £250,000 per week, it's like he threw his boots away. So the rot at the club is so big that I think having a new owner coming in with a new vision, new strategy, to take back the club to where it was. But the way I see it, you are in big risk of becoming the AC Milan that was so great in the years gone by, but now is a shell of where it was. So the work that needs to be done to get Arsenal back to where it was is so huge. It is so huge that I don't think the Kroenkes will be able to do that. So if a new owner comes in, someone that loves the club, someone that wants the best for the club, someone that does not come into the club to make money or to make dividends, someone that does not come to the club to be checking on the bottom line, how is our profit levels all the time. That is the kind of owner you need to get the club back to where it was. But with Kroenke, with the frivolous spending, saving here and there, getting cheap players, it's very tough. It's very tough because at the moment you won't be able, you cannot attract top quality players. You cannot pay mega salaries because you're not playing in the Champions League, you're not playing in the Europa League. It's hard. It's hard. It's hard to say. Yeah, it's really a tough one.
Yeah, because when you're looking at, sometimes you wonder what the problem is. From the owners of the club, management, the manager himself, or is about that's good enough. You have to face it. Because I was looking at the way we have been doing our it's not that Arsenal have not been spending, but they have been spending on the wrong players. You know, you wait to the end of the season, then you bring in one who did not even want those areas where you have you have Pepe. Pepe is a good player, but at that time Arsenal did not defenders. Pepe is £2 million. That's a lot of money. Basically, Arsenal was shambolic. We're talking about people like Mustafi, people like Boldi, Gambas, people like Mavropanos and other players who have left. How can you win match when you have the caliber of players that are so, talking about management, we have seen even the player set. A player is left to run down his contract and is left to leave. To replace that same player, you have to go out and buy a player with a lot of money, which is a very cost. That is what the contract is ones who are doing for new purchases. And so, coming to the players themselves, some of the players that the club have not been good enough. Let's face it, Mustafi, maybe for £35 million. It's one guy that you say people coming from Germany, they don't really the Premiership. £35 million for Mustafi. By the time we bought him, he was playing the national team. But once he landed at Arsenal, I don't know, he hung Arsenal completely. So other purchases are not enough, and this one you cannot blame on the owner of the club. You have to look at the people who are at the helm of the club, who are doing all these transfers. It's a strategy. You buy high, you let the players to run out. Some of them you release them. We are talking about people like Mesut Ozil, 350 grand. He left on a free transfer, a lot of money, and he didn't have anything to do at the club. So, which is which?
Let me nail it head on. The things that are done in Arsenal. Arsenal first in past areas. Kroenke is just like there's one guy, and also another thing we need is technical expertise. Who are these scouts? Arsenal Football Club. So the reason why I'm saying this, when you look at Arsenal nowadays, like when good players come in, they're downgrading, like they are not even yet called to the national team. These guys immediately are given the salary, they no longer find it fancy. They earn money, then give the players the funds, and they also complement the game we used to Arsenal. Arsenal is starting to be a team that I can give it For instance, to where can I really find that game? Maybe if you go to Italy, look at the teams like maybe Roma. Look at the teams like go back to France. Look at the teams like Monaco. So these are the teams previously we used to look up to, but now Arsenal, even a serious coach, I think at the moment, first of all, the things you'll have to lay on the table is that I need serious owners. Two, I need money to attract good players. Thirdly, I need an overhaul totally on my scouts. So Arsenal really needs a lot of panel in all the departments, starting from coaching, starting from investment, the player attitude, and also investment. And also right now, Arsenal now should not be attracting superstars and give them a lot of salary. These superstars are turning to be disappointments. Look at Aubameyang. He has not really, but this guy when he came before he signed that mega contract, he was really scoring goals. Another guy came in and felt like going to really perform. Is I don't know what is the second striker actually. Remind me the name. He's a French guy. Pardon?
Lacazette.
Yeah, Lacazette. So, Lacazette, it's like nowadays whenever I look at Lacazette, I only admire his shooting. I don't even see anything new that is coming from him. So right now, Arsenal just needs an overhaul and it needs a very serious coach. For instance, maybe you can get a coach like Klopp and you tell him we're giving you 5 years just to build a team here that can compete. So over time, I think that period is really needed in Arsenal because if you don't do that, I don't want to see a situation where Arsenal is going to start struggling with relegation come next season. Honestly, if you look at Arsenal, can you compare it with Aston Villa and West Ham? If you are a coach and you are told where do you want to go, you cannot go there. You go to Aston Villa or you can go to West Ham. And you know, we want to see Arsenal competing, and Arsenal has got a very big fan base. So for me, those three departments I've told you and I've insisted is the only way that can rescue Arsenal. First of all, for those other two departments, that is players and also the coach to work at scouting, you must have a good realistic investor. It's like Kroenke is turning to be the Tottenham guy who is Lewis, the guy who is so stingy in negotiations and many other things. And also Arsenal, from that way, you could attract a good coach, and this coach could downscale good tactics and a good attraction to other players, and also have a good technical bench that can really give us what it needs. But for now, you're going with the same coach, the same squad, the same investor come new season. Gilbert here has to testify. I don't see us not fighting relegation. The best you can be, maybe you could end up at the 14th place. Come on, look at the team. The teams are really investing. So I look to see good investment. You don't have necessarily to sack Arteta. Arteta needs money. Give him money, bring those good players. Even if he flops, then maybe the second half of the season sack him, bring a good coaching, and then he can funnel with that team, and then it can find its way back to its glory days. Wait, just
All right, fair enough. So we have a lot of issues that have to be has to take time to solve. So it's a very sad situation here at Arsenal because I'm support of Arsenal football. The expectations I really want to see from our club, but I'm not seeing it. So maybe we come to that. And now let's go to expectations for next season. Manchester City, Gilbert. Where do you think? What do they need to maybe to win the Champions League? If you were the manager, what would you ask?
The Champions League is not a guaranteed trophy that you can say if I do this and this, I'll win it.
Mhm.
It depends on a lot of factors. But basically, if they bring in a top striker like Kane, they'll be in a shout for retaining the league, because Kane, regardless of his injury record, he normally has like 2 weeks every season that he'll be injured, but he still turned out to be the top goal scorer. So this is a player that will give you guaranteed at least 23, 24 goals. Add that to the other midfielders who score for Man City, the type of game that Kane plays. He's good at build-up play. He's good at being a target man. He does not struggle with his touch. He has flair. So if they are able to get Harry Kane to their setup,
Unmute Gilbert, you're muted.
sorry for that. Yes, I was saying, if they get Harry Kane, I'm very sure they'll be able to retain the league, bar any catastrophic injury record like the one that Liverpool had this season. So that's the only place that I think they'll be missing, replacing Aguero.
Okay.
Yeah.
Innocent. What do you think Liverpool needs going to the next season?
Oh, I think we cannot be dependent on Salah all the time. We need a good finisher, and I hope that the best thing needs to happen for Liverpool is a player physical management, so that if we are able to have our center backs fit, and also Jota to discover his form like he showed, that could be okay. And finally, we need to have a good replacement for Wijnaldum, because Thiago,
she's very hard.
Which I don't know. I'm trying to look at who can fit the shoes of
Bissouma.
Bissouma. Bissouma. Tentatively, can fit it at 70%. Yeah. So, and finally, actually, just player management and have that good replacement for Gini, and also make sure that Jota is fit. At the end of the day, Bobby is good, but we don't need a striker who keeps passing players. We need a striker who gives us goals. Because the situation where Salah is not there and the man doesn't have form, it is so technically Klopp has to think we must have a reliable striker at the moment. And then we can compete for the top trophy. But if that one doesn't happen, we will survive and then maybe end third or fourth.
All right. So, okay, let's go to Manchester United. Gilbert.
What's the question?
What do you want to see in happen in Manchester United before the start of the season? What are some of the areas maybe you want to address, the manager to address going into the new season?
First of all, I'd want Zidane at my club, but I know that's a tall order. He's a proven winner. He'll earn the respect of the players. Pogba won't want to leave because he wanted to go to Real Madrid, basically because of being managed by one of France's legend in Zidane. But I know that is not achievable at the moment because the mood at the club is giving Solskjaer another contract. I'll address it basically on the failings that we've had, and one of them is our defense. Our defense has not been so good. We've been breached a lot of times. The partnership between Harry Maguire and Victor Lindelof has not been so good. Maguire is a bit slow on the turn, and he needs like a pacey partner by him. So a defender will be good. resolution of our goalkeeping situation is another thing that I'd want to see sorted out. We have two top-class goalkeeper. One is on 350,000 pounds a week. The other one is so ambitious that he wouldn't want to sit on the bench. So we have a very tough situation in our hands. We don't know whether to let De Gea go and give Henderson the number one position, or retain De Gea with all his failings in his game at the moment. So that's a tough one. Another one is to have a defensive midfielder. The partnership between Fred and McTominay has not been so good. They are not top quality midfielders. We struggle a lot with them. So maybe having a defensive midfielder brought in. Kante will be good and a good addition, but I know that's a dream. Yeah, and the forward line, we've given Cavani a new contract, but at 34 years old, that is not the future. So maybe an addition in the top side. But basically, if I'm to say the players I'd want to bring in, Jack Grealish, Declan Rice, maybe Varane as a defender, but you can't get all of them. But a few additions to strengthen the team. You know, when you finish second, you need to maybe bring in a new additions to push you forward, based on the weaknesses you've noted in the team in that season so far. So defense, midfield, and at least a forward, maybe Jadon Sancho or Jack Grealish, or both of them if possible. I think that will make us more competitive, and maybe give Manchester City and Liverpool and Chelsea a run for their money in the chase for the Premiership.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
that would be a lot if you get Grealish.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's not achievable because of the money involved. Grealish would command around 80, 70. Sancho the same amount. Rice. So if I was the director of football, I'd go for a swap between. I let them have Lingard and maybe get Declan Rice for a cut price. Bring in a good defender, at least to partner Maguire as backup option, because Bailey is ever injured, and either Grealish or Sancho, because in the forward line, I think what Ole is trying to do is trying to groom not Mason Mount, Greenwood, maybe to be a number 9. It will take time, but with Cavani there, he has a good mentor to learn from. Because I see that is the plan. But the top strikers available are too expensive. Going for the guy at Dortmund and the baggage that comes with Raiola, I don't think that's a good option for the club. Harry Kane will be so expensive, 150, 130, 140 million there. And coming from COVID, when finances are tight, clubs will want to spend prudently. So the only club that they can afford to spend that amount on one single player is Manchester City. So I don't think we can gain Harry Kane. I don't think we can go for Haaland. So yeah, those are my options.
All right. So if you manage to get a player like, of course, striking wise, maybe you can do with this season. Maybe next season you can look at another season where you'll be able to bring in somebody. But for this season, I think you'll be more going for a defender and somebody like a midfielder. So if you can get a top defender and maybe you get a Grealish, that would be a good transfer for you.
Yeah, check what you get, because coming out of COVID, a lot of clubs are struggling. Inter Milan right now are looking to sell players to generate funds. Barcelona have over 1 billion shilling debt. Real Madrid didn't want to renew the contract of one of their greatest ever players in Ramos, because they wanted him to take a pay cut. So that goes to show you that a lot of clubs have struggled post-pandemic financially. So I don't foresee any mega moves on the financial market. But maybe Manchester City and Chelsea, because of the financial muscle they have backed by their rich owners. So a defender, a midfielder, and maybe a forward will be a very good transfer window, but I don't think that will be possible with the issues I've mentioned in terms of finances. Yeah. So maybe doing swaps like what I've said for Lingard. West Ham have struggled financially. So if you're given an option of maybe giving them 30 million and we get Rice and they retain Lingard, those are the good moves I intend to see. But the problem at Manchester United, we don't have a very good director of football. We just appointed a new one who was retained, who was repositioned from another position, and we don't have like the people at Chelsea who make very good moves in the transfer windows, very prudent or astute moves. So I don't think that will be possible. But if I was the man there, those are the deals I'll be going for. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Or take advantage of the financial situation at Inter Milan. Inter Milan are struggling financially. Can go for. There's a guy called Milan Skriniar. He's a very good defender at Inter Milan. Right now they're struggling. If you give them 30 million pounds, they'll go for it. So you just have to be wise, cunning. See the people who are struggling, that have good players that they'd want to release to have some cash injection in their clubs, and go for them. Yeah.
All right, fair enough. So going to my club, Arsenal Football Club, there's a lot that has been done, a lot of sales. We are expecting to sell more than 8 players this season to generate the required, maybe the required income for player purchases. We are looking at a situation where we, like you already know, Granit Xhaka is on his way out to, if all goes well, to Milan, to Roma. We have Matteo Guendouzi, who is young, is leaving the club. We have players like Willian, we just signed the other day. He's said he wants to go back to Chelsea. I don't know whether Chelsea will accept him back. We have many players that we have to sell. And for me, there's another one, Hector Bellerin, who says he also wants to leave. So it's okay. So going with the situation, I think whatever I want to see at Arsenal Football Club will depend on what we are able to sell. The players we have to sell will determine the players we have to get. Again, the owners have said that they want to support the club. Maybe they might decide to inject some money into the club for player purchases. So I would expect us to go for a right-footed, what do you call it, a right centre back, because Willian has also left the club. No, not Willian. What's called Luis has left the club. So we need a top defender, centre back, because looking at the centre back situation, we don't have experience there. Some of the frailties that we have had last season is because of lack of leadership at the defense. Also look at a situation where we need a right back because Hector Bellerin wants out or the club wants to sell him. So I would like to have a player like Max Aarons of Norwich City, or the guy Mazrui of Ajax. I think he's a good shout. Going to the midfield, Granit Xhaka leaving will leave us with a lot of headache there because we need to have a partner for Partey. So Bissouma has been linked. Bissouma, he has come out. Of course, he's an Arsenal supporter, but that one does not mean anything because all the players we have are not Arsenal supporters. So that will depend on how the club is gonna look at him. So if we have Bissouma there, that would be a good shout in the midfield. Now going forward, we have a problem with the creativity. Odegaard has left the club because he's gone back to Madrid. Ceballos has gone back to Madrid, and our creativity is not there at all. So we'll be depending on a young player who is in the 20 years of age, Amy Smith Rowe, to give us the creativity that we need. And looking at the lad, he's not yet there. He's trying, but he's not yet there. So I'll be looking at players like Buendia, who has been talked about for a long time, or Awa, who we were linked with last season, or better still, there have been talk about Grealish, which is just, I don't think is able, it can happen. Of course, Grealish is also an Arsenal supporter, but I don't know whether we have the financial power to bring him to the club. And so that's what I would like to see. Whatever happens, I think would happen around those areas. But again, football is just football. Sometimes whatever you want is not whatever you receive. And whatever we receive is what we take, and maybe hope that things are gonna turn out to be better than the way they were last season. And so let me come back to you for the last remarks. Your prediction for the let me say top top 4 or top 6 or top 7 or top 8 for next season. Number 1, Gilbert, who do you think is gonna go with this? These are just predictions because these ones will also be informed with what kind of activities that are gonna happen in the transfer window. Yep. Yeah. So what do you think will be your ideally your number 1 to number 8?
8 up to 8, that's a big call. I think I'll do up to 4.
Okay.
I think Manchester City will win it. Liverpool, Chelsea, then Manchester United.
Those are top 4 for you. So
yes.
Innocent.
It is hard to retain the Premier League. Liverpool will go for it. Number 2 will be Chelsea. Number 3, Man City. Number 4, I see Leicester coming in.
No, Manchester United.
The way I placed you highly.
No, that's my prediction.
Okay, for me, I don't know if Liverpool get it right, of which I doubt so much because they have a lot of work to do with their players, especially with the likes of Mane, who have not performed this season, with what has happened in terms of his relationship with the manager, and also defensively, try to look at what they can do, maybe to get back to where they were the previous season. If they can get a season similar to what we saw in 2019-2020 season, that's when I will give Liverpool a nod to go back to the summit of the Premier League. So for now, I think number one is either Liverpool, Manchester City, or Chelsea. I don't see Manchester United going for the title. Actually, I always say that Manchester United were lucky to have a very good spell of performances this season. Not because they have not been good, but some of the performances they have had, they have not been convincing enough for even getting to where they have got. So if Manchester United have to compete for the title next season, they need to be very, very sure. They need to act like a big club. And what big clubs do, they have to get the right manager in place. They have to get the right players. Manchester United don't need a lot of players right now. They need, players in the right positions. They need a good defender, center back, that is non-negotiable. They need a holding midfielder, non-negotiable. They need either, because Cavani is there, they can forego a striker and they go for a creative midfielder, because you cannot rely on only one person throughout the season. So for things to work, they need to be very shrewd in this upcoming transfer window for them to give it a shout, because they are not very far away, but still very far away. 74 points. Those are the points they got last season, and I don't think that's good enough. That's good enough. So the season was bad to everybody, to every team. Manchester City were able to win it because they were consistent and they were ready for that. But next season is gonna be tough. So for me, Manchester City retaining the Premier League, Liverpool coming in second, Chelsea coming in third, and Manchester United coming in fourth is my prediction. The rest of us, I think, would be just we'll be looking at the big boys unless big changes happen. And so that is my prediction.
That's great. That's great for me, Gilbert, for you to finish top 4, and then Ole Gunnar has to exit maybe the second half of the season. Then there you can finish top 2.
It's a wait and see. For right now, I'm waiting for the Euros.
Okay, great. Whom are you supporting the Euros, by the way?
No, I'm an England fan. I've always been an England fan.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yes,
for me,
but I know France have a big shout. France, especially with Benzema coming back to the fold, could just see that attack. Kylian Mbappe, Karim Benzema, and this guy from Barcelona. Their midfield superb with Kante there. Defense,
We have
Kimpembe, you have Varane.
Now you're
Beautiful
talking. That's why I'm
squad.
supporting
Beautiful
France.
squad.
Thank
Beautiful
you.
squad.
Accept that I'm supporting France. Okay,
Yeah,
and how
beautiful
about
squad.
you, Adama?
me, I will support any team that has Arsenal players. But for
I struggle to get a team that has an Arsenal player. Where does Shaka play? In Serbia?
Shaka plays for Switzerland.
They are not even. Did they even qualify?
Yeah, he's the captain.
Yeah, they like of Shaqiri Darin.
Yeah. So, but for this one, I'll be supporting England because I know a lot of players from
Yeah, exactly. Familiarity.
Yeah. And also we have our boy there, Bukayo Saka. I don't know whether he'll make it to the last.
Yeah, he's there. The squad has just been announced.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yeah. So that
Bukayo Saka is in. Surprise! Alexander Arnold is going to the Euros.
I said
whether he'll play. Whether he'll play or not, that's another issue.
Yeah. So, guys, thank you for your time. So,
yes.
It's been a good session we have had. We have, of course, it was a catch-up session, and I will hope maybe coming in the next season we have a bigger group, so that we'll be connecting in this platform. So thanks for your time, and happy Madaraka Day for 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 the country that we love most.
Yeah.
There is
Yeah,
no
Okay,
hope
good
here.
night.
Guys,
we'll be having transfer news. Maybe when we hear something, we can also come on. Maybe 10-15 years, we can be talking on this platform, and really enjoy your support and your company. Thank you so much for your time, guys.
perfect,
you.
guys. I wish you well with your Euro teams, and just know France, we are running away with it. Bye.
Bye.